Hello there, I'm Adela,
Hi, I'm Oliver.
and today we are going to talk about the channel 3955, named the channel of romance or the channel of moodiness. I will make a general presentation about this channel, and then we'll talk separately about each having the gate that bridges the other one's key or gate, and together they make the channel of romance. So I will show my chart and explain where these keys are in the body graph. So the channel we are going to talk about is the one bridging the root center here with the 39 gene key or gate, going and meeting the 55 gene key here from the emotional center. I have an undefined emotional center, but when this channel bridges, it makes the chart be emotional. So whenever a person that has an undefined root or an undefined emotional center meets someone with this dynamic, they will be defined as well. So what this channel does mainly, it's using the moods and it's using the provocation of different moods in order to free the other and free what is stagnant, free the stagnant energies and empower the individual to understand his moods better, understand how to overcome the whirlwind of moods and be free and empower the self and the others. So, what can you tell us about the 39 that you have?
So I'm fairly new to the whole gene key structure. I found out about the 39 fairly recently. Apparently, it's the provoker. Personally speaking, I've never really felt myself a provoker, at least not consciously. After reading about it, what I mostly identify with is the fact that in the shadow frequency of the 39, it's more of a blocker. And I see it every day in my life when any little minor frustration happens, I become so flustered, so annoyed, so angry, and I effectively become blocked to where that frustration overcomes anything I'm really able to achieve. Um, and I think it's the connection with the 55, which Adela has, that ultimately allows me to see the silliness of a lot of those blockages that I do see.
Okay.
How do you feel about it? I could talk more, but I wanna make this more of a conversation.
Okay, I will go into my 55 moodiness. And what I want to tell about, I'm glad you said about not feeling as being the provoker, because many times, as we both have many gates here in the root center, many times, this one, many times people that have gates in the root center don't feel they are provoking or they are putting pressure on the other one, because the root center is a pressure center, and many times it's about putting pressure on yourself or pressure on others, and it's about pressure to evolve, pressure to be free, pressure to be out of the body, or so on. So I'm glad you told it, because many times people that have these keys don't feel that necessarily about themselves, but they can see that effect in the other person or in the room they are entering. So with me having this hanging gate here and have this 55 in an undefined emotional center, for me, whenever I meet 39, in this case you, it's either about being very provoked to feel my moods, and it can go into an emotional roller coaster as it happened yesterday, or it can go into feeling very free and feeling very inspired and feeling inspired to free other people, like the type of free your mind, free your spirit. 55 is the gate of spirit and the gate of abundance, and it's one of the gates that makes this transition between this world and the next one. So it's about helping people free the way they see reality. So yeah, it's a nice mix when they are in the gift level.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
see.
Um, yeah, from my perspective, dealing with the moodiness, I think that's really just a symptom. From my perspective, when I see a lot of the potential in people, but I also see a lot of the flaws. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I think that is what brings out the real like provocation element, because I express my emotions very clearly, even though I don't even do it consciously, and that has a very profound effect on the people I'm around. Um, and a lot of times, what would happen is when I meet when I've met Adela and I've sort of thought through processes, I've been able to start thinking about my blockages as not really blockages, but as opportunities that life throws in front of me to evolve and to grow. But I wouldn't have the ideas or the creativity or really the know-how of how to move on and make those opportunities if it wasn't for basically your energy that helps me get ideas and get out of that rut. Because uh, like a perfect example is I get very easily frustrated about finances, even though a lot of the time that shouldn't even be an issue. And Adela is very quick to remind me that, there's a lot more to that. And there's a lot of happiness that can be achieved through other avenues that I would have never really thought of before, because I just get tunnel vision and I effectively get blocked. I'm blocked because if something frustrates me, that's it. I can't think creatively, and I certainly can't think freely.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, I almost feel like your 55 energy is more of a provoker for me, because it now forces, and dude, there's no excuse for you to act this way. It's no excuse for you to be so stuck. It's no excuse for you to be so narrow-minded. So
Yes.
that's really the strong force that I feel coming my way, the force of like, hey, now I don't have any excuse. Now I have to be more free.
Okay, so from my point of view, the way I saw my 55 being awakened by your energy when I returned home after we met, I felt very inspired and I felt very free. Like I felt I had no limits. As you know, I'm working with planets and I'm working in the astrology field. So I felt a connection with the universe. I was very inspired in a way that I can't really describe, like that connection with the spirit. So it was an effect that I never imagined. I was like, oh my God, you fall in love and then you see the planets in the sky, like, whoo, that's weird. So 55, I feel it's a key that is connected to the spirit and is connected to having no boundaries. Like it's really free to be, free to, I don't know, have opinions, free to feel in many ways. Um, what I also wanted to say is that because you have I have an open emotional center and yours is defined, for you it's maybe easier to, balance your emotions or to pin down what the emotions are. For me, when this 55 gets activated, it's very hard because it becomes very intense and it's hard to realize what kind of emotions am I having. So yes, so this is what usually I feel about this. And
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, you say, because afterwards I'm going to get in a new idea. So
Okay, just quickly about the emotional part of it. For someone like me, it can be hard to relate. or to get my head around the fact that a person is dealing with many different emotions and they sometimes don't know how to categorize and control all of them. So for me, I guess this emotional authority, as they call it, allows me to, I guess, move on from emotions a lot more clearly, or at least define them very clearly. And I get really frustrated when I feel like someone, for no fault of their own, struggles with it more. And it's a bad feeling. You don't want to feel like you're making the people you care about unable to control their emotions. So it's not a good feeling from my perspective either. So.
Well, I had a lot to learn uh, in this regard from you, because I had the tendency to be overly emotional all the time, and I think I already made some posts about this, asking like, do people with undefined emotional feel very emotional? And many times they said yes, and many times it's when we are not in our comfort zone, or when we are not in, in our flow, that we become like really moody. So I used to be very moody, and when I met you, I started understanding my emotions better, and understanding that, yeah, sometimes it's not a place for me to go in that room of whatever is going there. So yes, well,
But
sometimes
I know it can be hard to control. It's
sometimes better, sometimes worse. Also, what I wanted to say about this, as we both have it, and I'll show it. So the partnering program, the programming partner of 39 is 38, this one that we both have. So we both have this channel. These ones, as you see here, are two polarities, and polarities usually work as opposites um, in astrology or in the chart. So 39 is a Cancer gate that was or is it's ending today, and 38 is a Capricorn gate that is the warrior gate. So this combination I find very interesting. So 39, what it does, it goes into liberating and giving freedom to the 55, but it also goes into 38, which is a fighter key, and gives 38 in a way the fuel to fight the right fight. So it does interesting stuff. And yes, I would like to know your view on how your warrior spirit feels, as we both have this warrior spirit inside. Like, what is the connection between, being provoked in a certain way, or feeling liberated in a certain way, and fighting for a cause?
That's an interesting point because I never actually actively thought of myself as fighting for very many causes. Although now that I really think about it, I've always held strong beliefs. For example, things like loyalty, cleanliness, discipline, um, very simple, fundamental concepts that I've always sort of been a champion for. But in a way, I don't know if that's necessarily a warrior spirit per se. I think a lot of people should. Maybe you don't. I think a lot of people should have something that they care about, that they feel strongly about. In regards to liberation and freedom, to be perfectly honest, I haven't fully experienced that aspect yet. Certainly nothing along the lines of fighting for my freedom, although it's become more and more pronounced in the last couple of years, especially since I met you. This desire to sort of live my best life, something that I haven't really thought about uh, at length before. And now being more and more unblocked more frequently, I hope, or at least I have been, it allows me to think more clearly and more openly about what freedom can mean outside of the rut and the grind and the rat race and the day-to-day crap that we all deal with.
Mhm.
It's that sort of ambition and that light at the end of the tunnel to believe that it can be better. It doesn't have to be like it is. It doesn't have to be like what I'm currently living so frequently, where I get blocked by so many things that really shouldn't be blocking me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I hope, yes. I hope it will have this inspiring, and we will inspire each other. I to be less moodier or constructively moody, and you to be more free
And
to
me to
be.
be more gentle.
Yeah, so I know I put this question spontaneously, but I found it interesting because I work with the streams of energy when I'm reading the chart. So from my point of view, this stream of energy goes from the spleen to the emotion. So I found it important to tell about this warrior spirit. And yeah, thank you for telling about discipline, because it's one of the characteristics of the 38, which is called the light warrior, or the warrior that fights for light and for justice and for honor. Honor being the gift of 38. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Happy to be here. I hope I contributed, and I hope all you viewers out there sort of learn a little bit something just from our little anecdotal example. And yeah, it's been my
Yes,
pleasure to be
and
part of
whenever you feel provoked, see that there is a potential to free something, to yeah, to free something that is stagnant. And especially for people who have this whole channel in their own chart, um, see that they might have this effect on people, and it's not necessarily bad. Just
it.
take
Yeah.
your time.
And see the blockages as an opportunity. See the blockages as an opportunity that life is telling you that you need to evolve and learn new ways of coping and new ways of experiencing life. That's really my biggest takeaway from the 39, at least.
And mine from the 55 is whenever you feel emotional, try to see the freeing part of it, and try to see the abundance of emotions and the beauty of the abundance of emotions, and not feel trapped in emotions and become a victim of, oh, it's so hard.
Everything's
As
happened to me. Oh
yes,
no.
Oliver knows.
I get the same way. I get the same way. I feel, yeah, my feeling is with the blockages, I feel like I'm a victim of life acting upon me as opposed to me living life. It's like you never want to feel like things are happening to you. I guess that's what I think the combination between the 39 and the 55 have done correctly is a way of escaping that feeling that life is happening to you. And it gives you more authority and more, I guess, freedom over how you live your life.
And we haven't mentioned it too much, but I just let it as an open open subject for people to have their open minds roam around it. It's called the channel of romance, and both these gates are sexual gates and intimacy gates, and this is one of the channels related to couple energy. And this is why we are doing it like this. It's our first video together. But as sexual gates, 39 is the teaser, is the one that like always provokes the other one with stuff. No, Oliver doesn't see that. I don't do it. And 55 is the moody lover that needs to be romanced and provoked. So yeah, they make a good blend together.
The one thing I will say about that is, I guess men, if you're watching this and you are the 39, yeah, don't lose track of the romance. One thing I struggle with is I've never really learned how to properly be romantic, even though I know I can be. It's if you don't actively think about it, if you don't actively engage in it, you're going to leave a lot of women pretty disappointed. So this is something that I am constantly trying to remind myself of, and I'm being reminded of that it's super important.
Unless the partner has 55 and they start crying, like, I don't get attention.
Yeah, and you won't know why they're crying because why would you?
Okay, thank you. Hope it
Thank
was useful. Bye.